Yeah, well, first and foremost, apologies to the fans.
Here is a list of the 15 most expensive transfers in football history. We've got some pretty heavy hitters here. Neymar, Cristiano Ronaldo, Eden Hazard, Kylian Mbappe, etc. and etc. Big numbers, but as we all know, some of these players took their signing bonuses and went straight to McDonald's. While some of them, rightly so, gave their respective clubs a massive return on their investment. Big props to them. Which brings us to number 15, a special entry. Special because he's the most expensive defender of all time. Harry Maguire. 80 million pounds, bro. 80 million. Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. He hasn't exactly lived up to his price tag. So, what's going on here? He was a good player during his Leicester days, highly sought after for a reason. No one can deny that there is a decent ball-playing centre-back in there somewhere. But over the past 2 years or so, he's done nothing but regress for his club, to the point where he's even putting his own teammates in danger. Harry, no! You're supposed to strike fear in the opposition! The opposition, Harry! The purpose of this video is to take a look at Harry Maguire's path up to now and attempt to track exactly what it is that's caused this insane decline. I will note that United does have a track record of stifling talent these days, but this is just mad. So, with that in mind, among other questions, what's going on with Harry Maguire? Yo, what's going on everyone? Hope you're all doing well. I'm Tinashe. Welcome back to another video. This has been a pretty highly requested video for obvious reasons. However, before we really get into this one, I feel I have to preface this by saying this is an assessment of his on-field antics only. Everything I say and all the criticism is purely football related. I'm sure he's a decent fella in real life, but let's be real, that doesn't really factor very much in here, does it? Moving along, as always, what we're going to do is start things off from his early days and work our way up to the present day. Born in 1993 and hailing from Sheffield, it only made sense that Jacob Harry Maguire started off local. Sheffield United, it was. And contrary to how many may view the man today, it shouldn't surprise anyone that he was quite the star man in his younger days. The reason it shouldn't surprise anyone is because he's a professional footballer. I mean, for anyone to get into that position, you kind of have to be in the 0.001% of all the other kids around you growing up. He never had tons of pace about him, but always had size and technique on the ball. A rare combination. Something helped by the fact that he played in the midfield early on. Coming through the ranks at United, impressing everyone and picking up numerous Player of the Year awards, a move up the ranks was inevitable. First came Hull City, a loan move to Wigan, back to Hull, and by 2017, he was bound for the former Premier League champions, Leicester City. A £17 million fee. A steep fee, perhaps, but it was worth it. Starting life in Leicester off with a bang, yet again, he did not disappoint. But this time, things were different. The whole world was starting to take notice as Maguire seized control of the Leicester defense. He was vocal, he was impactful on the ball, driving forward when need be, picking his midfielders out, short and long. He was a menace in the box, both in attack and defense. I mean, being 6'4" and good in the air, it only makes sense, I guess. For the second year in a row, and for as many clubs, he was named the Player of the Year. And right about here, that's when the entirety of Manchester started double-checking their account balances. Come the end of the 17-18 season, Manchester United and Manchester City had seen enough and decided Maguire was exactly what they were looking for. And would you blame them? Vincent Kompany, City's long-term captain and rock, was on his way out, and Lord knows Manchester United needed reinforcements. I mean, listen, no centre-back of theirs was on their way out or anything. They just... they needed help. Or Jesus. They still do. An insane 2018 World Cup for him and England did nothing but increase his stock too. But then again, perhaps it increased it too much. £70 million was the asking price. An asking fee made possible thanks to several factors. English tax, the fact that Leicester would be selling to a direct competitor, and Virgil van Dijk's £75 million Liverpool transfer earlier in the year, among other factors, were surely contributing elements. And so both Manchester clubs withdrew. Guardiola even came out and said, Man City couldn't afford him? Okay. Man United, on the other hand, waited a year and dropped 80 million for the man. 1 year after claiming 70 million was too much. It's just peak United, isn't it? In any case, he was a welcome addition, quite literally slotting straight into Man United's defense and playing all 38 games of his first season there. And regardless of how you feel about the guy today, nobody can deny how much of an impact he had on the squad when he first arrived. Here we have United's defensive stats in the 18-19 season, and here we have United's defensive stats in the 19-20 season when Maguire arrived. More than anything, we want to be looking at the top 3 stats here: clean sheets and goals conceded. Of course, this is a team sport and tactics and personnel played their part. For example, Aaron Wan-Bissaka was also added to the defense that year. Regardless, there was a clear and visible uptake in defensive organization. Maguire was clearly making a difference, so much so that 6 months into his United career, he was handed the captaincy, which was odd to many people. Manchester United captains had historically been senior squad members that had been part of the club for several years. The likes of David De Gea were significantly more senior, so this decision raised some eyebrows. Nonetheless, Maguire was a leader at the back, and I think many people eventually accepted this was an adequate appointment at the time. Let's fast forward to the summer of 2021. Another decent year, resulting in a second place finish for United and another set of fantastic international performances with England may be distant memories for some. But it's important we don't turn our back to these facts. Dude was deservedly in the 2020 Euros Team of the Season, helping England to the finals. He also showed his resolve by stepping up early to smash in a penalty in the shootout. He made some blunders, sure. No one can deny that. But at least they were interspersed with good performances. And that brings us to the 2021-22 season. The man's low-light reel is honestly just comical at this point. Just search Maguire funny on YouTube and just have a good time. Almost every week, a clip of him doing something wacky goes viral. Own goals, playing the opposition onside, getting beaten easily and turning like a fridge, having his own teammates question whether he should be in the team or not. The list goes on and on. Once again, on the left is a snapshot of United's defensive stats from Maguire's first season at Old Trafford. On the right is a snapshot of their stats from this season. Again, we only care about the top 3 lines in each instance. The regression is pretty easy to see. And he's not doing himself any favours in the press either.
But I wouldn't be playing every game for Manchester United in the starting 11 if I'd been playing bad every game or not playing well enough. There's a reason why both managers have put me in the starting 11 every game.
Alright, so basically, this right here, this is accountability. I'm Maguire, okay? It's going over. It's missing, it's going over my hair. As you can see, I've been practicing my skits. But like I said, football is a team sport. It may seem like I'm picking on Maguire because I am, but that's only because he's the captain and is more or less the poster boy of United's poor season. He is, however, not the only one to blame. He may not even be the worst player on that team. Marcus Rashford has gone missing. Luke Shaw clocked out earlier in the season. Mason Greenwood is currently the 3rd top scorer for United in the league, and he hasn't even stepped foot on the pitch since January. Good riddance, by the way. And to be fair, Maguire has suffered a few injuries and knocks this season, which likely have not done him any favors. In any case, based on the current narrative, Maguire is taking the brunt of the criticism, which is why this video exists in the first place. Without going too deep into the stats, many of which don't actually tell us anything, I want to quickly highlight some of his numbers from this season. 3 key stats in particular. As always, all links for all sources can be found in the description. First stat, percentage of dribblers tackled. As the name suggests, this is a metric showcasing how he does in one-on-one scenarios. With a 50% tackle succession rate when a dribble is attempted against him, he sits in the 39th percentile for that stat among centre-backs in the top 5 leagues in Europe, which means you could literally flip a coin if you ever see him one-on-one with anyone, which is not exactly the position you want to be in if you're a United fan. He manages a successful pressure just under 35% of the time, putting him in the 38th percentile. A pretty alarming stat, seeing as how United have been attempting to implement a high defensive line lately. And the final two numbers: passing offsides, as in towards players in offsides positions, and passes out of bounds, as in out of bounds. 0.18 and 1.16 per 90 respectively. Note that these stats do not count clearances. For whatever reason, he either loses concentration or is being targeted by the opposition and forced into errors, which from an opposing perspective only makes sense. And before anyone comments anything, yes, I am cherry-picking stats. His aerial prowess is still commendable. He's not drawing an egregious amount of fouls, but it's not like any of that actually matters. You know, when you're the most costly defender of all time at a club like Manchester United, and the captain no less, it's kind of like no excuse is acceptable, you know? So what's really going on? What's caused this rapid, sudden, and quite frankly embarrassing decline? Especially considering the fact that he still performs when he plays for England. Well, some may point to the fact that with England, he plays in the heart of a 5-man defense with ample protection in front of him, so there is very little space for attackers to expose his lack of pace or agility. All he really needs to worry about with England from a defensive perspective is aerial duels and being in a decent position to cut out passing lanes or outmuscle attackers, which is obviously a lot harder than I'm making it sound, but I hope you get what I'm trying to say. I think this is a fair assessment on why he doesn't go missing on that stage. However, at United, as I previously mentioned, Ralf Rangnick has been trying to implement a high line and he doesn't have the same number of bodies around him. Maguire just can't seem to get his positioning right in this system, constantly being caught out, unable to recover against any attacker. Again, this is why attackers are constantly targeting him. He has mistakes in him, and again, just remember, this is the most expensive defender of all time. Ultimately, for whatever reason, he's just been poor, hasn't he? It's sad to see. I just hope for his and United's sake he picks up form soon, because the high line isn't going anywhere with Erik ten Hag coming in. I guess time will tell. In any case, that's where we're going to leave this one. So for now, I want to throw the question over to you guys. What do you think of Harry Maguire? And please, no profanities. Feel free to let me know all your thoughts in the comments below, and if you're feeling generous, feel free to follow me on Twitter or Instagram if you want to, but no pressure. Anyway, that's all from me today. Really hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you're all having a good day. Cheers, and I will catch you in the next one.